Another new release on decky. Today is the second part of the beautiful gift that was sent over to me by Byron Parfums, and I want to give you guys my opinion on their new release, Black Dragon. Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. This is your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. So yeah, you heard it right. The name is Black Dragon, and not to be confused with.
Took the restrictor plate off, give the red dragon a little more juice. But let's keep that on the down low.
Or
Leroy! When I say, who's the master? You say,
yeah, Black Dragon. So when I got the package, the first thing that I opened was the Mula Mula, and I absolutely loved Mula Mula. From the original to that Rouge joint. That shit is lit. This one I've worn at this point about 3 or 4 times, including today, which is my scent of the day. I'm gonna be honest with you, this was a little bit of a challenging fragrance for me. The opening of this fragrance is a little bit weird, and I didn't go absolutely ape shit for the opening of this fragrance. Now, is it a bad fragrance? Newsflash, it absolutely isn't. But it is a little bit challenging for me personally, especially on paper. On skin and on paper, obviously we know there's a lot of complete differences or whatever. But for me, initial opening just smelled a little bit weird and just all over the place. Like I have it sprayed on paper right now. I give you my first impressions of it when it's sprayed on paper. Like, you do get a nice blast of honey, but there's a greenness and kind of a mossy dirt in that opening that my nose picks up that makes it a little bit weird, like a ping pong ball, just going back and forth trying to figure out where it's going to land and how it's going to land. The opening on paper was one of those openings that was just like, I want to continue going back to it to see if it redeems itself, because the opening is just not really what I thought. But then again, didn't know what I expected either. Now, I decided to look up the notes in the fragrance and give it to you guys so you guys can get an idea of what I'm speaking of. But then again, my interpretations are completely left from what I think of the notes, but just providing you info either way. Top notes: honey, pineapple, mango. Heart notes: cigar, bourbon, vanilla, and sandalwood. Base notes: patchouli, amber, and musk. I get honey and pineapple and mango might be a little bit of what's going back and forth and confusing me on the opening. It feels like the mango is not the traditional mango that you sucking on like a titty. It's more like a green mango. Just doesn't play well for me with the mango and the honey. But what this shit does do very well on skin is mid and dry down, which I thoroughly enjoy because I am a cigar lover as well as bourbon. So for me, those points hit very nice. And on skin, they hit even better. So this is a fragrance that I don't like up close. It doesn't smell good for me. It really has to formulate some kind of scent profile in the air for me to thoroughly enjoy it. But the opening for me is just not where it's at all. For me, it's mid and dry down, and the cigar note and the leafy greenness of that raw tobacco kind of vibe really smells awesome. The bourbon in here is a subtle bit of a boozy vibe, but it does have a nice vanilla spark to it that does make it sexy, yet comforting and warm. On dry down, you get that ambery punch and a little bit of a dirt from the patchouli, but all in all, I think it's a nice fragrance. I don't think it has the same reaction that I received from Mula Mula in my opinion. The performance on it wasn't outstanding on my skin. It was around a 6-hour mark. I wish it was a little bit more pungent off of my skin. My skin is a little bit spongy and it absorbs fragrances crazy. It's not a bad fragrance at all, but it doesn't have the same wow factor that Mula Mula gave me, if I'm being subjective by the 2 fragrances that were sent to me. On paper, it won't do it justice. I don't recommend smelling it on paper. If you ever get a chance to encounter it, buy a sample, whatever the case may be, it has to be put on skin and see how it formulates on your skin. For me, I'm getting honey, cigar, patchouli, amber, and a bourbony vanilla. Those are the most notable notes. The honey's a little bit dirty and smells organic. The mango smells a little bit green, but not super prevalent because it's fighting with the pineapple. The bourbon is present. The cigar is definitely present. The patchouli is a little dirty, and the amber's just there coating it with a little bit of a crystallized love. And that's my personal opinion. For me, this fragrance is not a ball sprayer, unfortunately, because it doesn't have all the facets that I was looking for. I really wanted it, but then Mula Mula held it to such a high standard that for me, this one just doesn't do it. Doesn't make it a bad fragrance, just not for me. I'll see y'all bitches next time. You know who it is. Biggest in the game. Smooches.
Cubaknow, what's fresh, who's best? One of them's gonna pass the test. Cubaknow.
fly gun holder, money folder, molar roller, start tag when it's time to call back. It's nonsense, you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.